As I'm editing this week's video, news is breaking that the Korean stock market has suspended sell orders. Let's take a look at that real quick here. Mario Nawfal has reported that South Korea has halted stock sell orders amid market volatility. That, along with the fact that Bitcoin has tumbled to sub 54 just before midnight Eastern Daylight Time as I'm getting ready to release this week's video. Just know that the news that I had collated and ready to go was from earlier this afternoon on Sunday. There's obviously more news that needs to be reported, so expect an update sometime later on Monday. But in the meantime, here is the news as recorded on Sunday afternoon. Thanks for joining me. A weak U.S. jobs report and Gemini's crypto cash out drives Bitcoin's price sub 60. Major mining firms see vastly different results in July. And can Lummis's Bitcoin reserve bill get to a vote in the Senate? Stick around to find out on this week's Bitcoin News Update. The best Bitcoin-themed sports apparel is at hodlersofficial.com. Top quality hockey sweaters, limited edition basketball jerseys, baseball jerseys, and hats. Every piece is professionally embroidered for a world-class look to rep the world's best money. Head on over to hodlersofficial.com and use the discount code EFFECT to save 10% off of your order. Hi, I'm Nate Martin with this week's Bitcoin News Update. After rising to just over $70,000 last week with Donald Trump's pro-Bitcoin speech at Bitcoin 2024 last weekend, Bitcoin followed the broader market downward with the news that non-farm payrolls in the U.S. grew by just 114,000 in July, well below the Dow Jones estimate of 185,000. Average hourly earnings increases were also short of estimates, fueling fears that a recession is more likely. Those recession fears, especially in the U.S., loom larger as the Federal Reserve chose to leave interest rates unchanged at least until September. The decision to keep rates at 5.25% to 5.5% has come under some scrutiny, especially as central banks elsewhere, including the UK, ECB, and Bank of Canada, have been easing rates. Lower interest rates are usually good for risk-on assets like Bitcoin because borrowing money becomes cheaper, and the funds from those loans would add liquidity to a sluggish economy. Uncertainty as to what the Fed might do next has sent some investors to the sidelines. Adding to the bearish sentiment is the news that bankrupt crypto lender Genesis Global Capital completed its restructuring and has begun repaying its creditors. As part of the process, Genesis moved more than $1.5 billion in Bitcoin and Ether on Friday, including 16,600 Bitcoin and more than 166,000 Ether, prompting investors to liquidate their holdings, further adding to the selling pressure, as Bitcoin fell into the low 57s over the weekend before trading at 58.5 by Sunday afternoon. Marathon Digital Holdings, one of the largest Bitcoin mining companies in the United States, has reported significant losses for the second quarter of 2024, leading them to sell more than 50% of the Bitcoin mined over those 3 months to cover operating costs. Despite a 78% increase in revenues compared to the $81.7 million reported in the second quarter of last year, a $148 million fair market value drop in digital assets contributed to significant losses of 72 cents per share, markedly worse than the 19 cents per share loss expected by Wall Street analysts. Fred Thiel, Marathon's CEO, cited unexpected equipment failures, increased global hash rate, and the April halving event as additional difficulties leading to the losses. On the other side of the coin, CleanSpark mined 494 Bitcoin in July, increasing its treasury by 567% compared to the same period last year, and now holds a total of 7,082 Bitcoins. Even while expanding their operations into Wyoming and Tennessee, the company sold only 2.52 Bitcoin in the month of July. After Senator Cynthia Lummis announced the Bitcoin Act in Nashville last weekend, senators were inundated with 2,200 letters from their constituents urging them to co-sponsor the bill. The bill would implement a Bitcoin purchase plan over 5 years for the Treasury to acquire 1 million Bitcoins as a strategic reserve, and it would uphold individual Bitcoin holders' self-custody rights. Of the 2,200 letters, more than 1,300 were sent to Democrats, 850 to Republicans, and 41 to independents. The bill has been referred to the Senate Banking Committee for review. That's it for this week's Bitcoin News Update. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. See you next week.